The Heart of Asia conference in Tajikistan is underway. The summit brings together Afghanistan's neighbors and other regional powers. The Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has said at the conference that India remained committed to the development of Afghanistan in order to make the country self-sufficient. He also said that India will continue to work towards improving Afghanistan's connectivity. The Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and the Pakistan Foreign Minister were also seen on the same platform for the first time since 2019. This was during the photo op session. Meanwhile, the Tajikistan President Emomali Rahmon said the last 4 decades have shown that there is no military solution to Afghanistan. The Heart of Asia conference comes after Russia held a conference in Moscow to intensify negotiations between the Afghan government, the Taliban and the United States in Qatar. The US is supposed to complete the withdrawal of all its troops from Afghanistan by the 1st of May as part of the deal with the Taliban. And that's a deadline that US President Joe Biden recently said would be tough to meet. The Kremlin, which pulled Soviet troops from Afghanistan in 1989 after a bruising occupation, last week threw its weight behind Washington's initiative for an interim government that included the Taliban. For more on these developments, journalist Ali M. Latifi joining us from Kabul. Thanks very much for speaking with us. What is your assessment of the talks, the potential that this conference really has? Are you optimistic that this dialogue will pave the way for peace in Afghanistan, given that the Afghanistan peace talks so far have taken place in the shadow of violence with the Taliban attacks continuing?
So this is actually a very important conference because, you know, for the last 2 years or so, the Taliban have been doing a very good job of traveling around the region to Uzbekistan, to Tajikistan, to Iran, to Pakistan, to all of these places to try and get a regional consensus, to understand what these neighboring countries think of them. They've been on this diplomatic mission, and now the Afghan government will have to do the same. They'll have to try and convince the regional countries to partner with them, to accept that this Islamic Republic must be maintained, that whatever has been gained or regained over the last 20 years can't be lost, and that if a deal needs to be made, that deal is beneficial to all Afghans, that the current system isn't completely wiped away.
What is your view on the role that India can play in the Afghanistan peace process?
India is a very tricky, it's going to play a very tricky part because obviously, even though they were the same country at one point, India and Pakistan have a very hostile attitude towards one another, and the Taliban are very close to both Pakistan and Iran. So it'll be very important to, sort of have India understand that even if Afghanistan makes a deal with the Taliban, if they improve their relations with Iran and Pakistan, that will not be to the detriment of India, that all three of these nations need to work together with Afghanistan. So it's very important because, India and Afghanistan have had a long history. India has helped Afghanistan in a lot of ways. They've worked on dam projects. They've worked on a children's hospital in the city of Kabul. They've helped with the new parliament building. They've really been a long-time ally, but we need to make sure that they don't feel left out in this process and that they understand that Afghanistan, bringing the Taliban in whatever form into some kind of a government is not going to be an existential threat or a major difficulty for India.
The United States had the May 1 deadline for withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan. President Joe Biden has said that deadline is tough to meet. How do you see things panning out on that front from here onwards?
As Joe Biden himself said, it's very difficult to get all of the troops out so quickly. But what's become very obvious over the last few weeks is that Joe Biden is just as determined to create some kind of a political settlement in Afghanistan. a big part of his campaign was this promise, as was every other Democratic candidate, to get out of Afghanistan. And I think he's really genuine about that. And if you look at the last letter that the US Secretary of State sent to the Afghan government, they were very clear. They said, we're not getting rid of Zalmay Khalilzad, the negotiator that handled the Trump administration's negotiations with the Taliban. They said that we want some kind of a settlement. They said that we have to find a way for the Taliban in any future in Afghanistan. So, what the Afghan government has to remember, and the Taliban, is that the U.S. is very determined to get a deal. And they've brought in the UN sort of as an arbiter to make sure that talks actually progress, that they actually move forward, that, both sides aren't sitting on their hands any longer.
Ali Latifi, appreciate very much for joining us on the broadcast with those perspectives. And our Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik is in Dushanbe, Tajikistan, tracking all those developments very closely. He sent us this report. Take a look.
I'm standing inside the hall where the meeting of the Foreign Ministers of the Heart of Asia is currently ongoing. The Afghan Foreign Minister has spoken, the Indian External Affairs Minister has spoken, the Irani Foreign Minister has spoken, and so has the Pakistani Foreign Minister. The Indian Foreign Minister in his speech has emphasized that India would continue with its developmental role in Afghanistan and that it supports peace processes. Additionally, they've also cleared out that India would despise the fact that foreign fighters are present in Afghanistan and that they should be cut down immediately, and then the fact that there should be an immediate reduction in violence. On the other hand, the Pakistani Foreign Minister Shahnaaz Qureshi, while speaking on the occasion, has hinted and has said that the role of spoilers within Afghanistan and outside Afghanistan should be discouraged and that Pakistan will continue to facilitate all these processes. The Afghan president has emphasized the need for a reduction in violence and the fact that all parties should come together for a comprehensive ceasefire and to put down pressure so that Afghanistan and the people of Afghanistan would not suffer. As we speak, the session is currently ongoing and different foreign ministers of different countries are speaking turn by turn, 3 minutes each. Anas Malik in Dushanbe, Tajikistan for WION World is One.